Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from an undisclosed live.
What?
I can't remember.
Undisclosed.
Let me start this over. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from an undisclosed location in Los Angeles, California. This is
Commercial King.
Don't do that again this week. How did you get the ball back? Just give me the ball. Give me the ball. Give me the ball. Give me the... Yeah, here you go. Go over there. That's okay.
Live.
Thank you for joining us tonight, people. You are indeed being your mythical best, being here with us. If you're watching IFC, you are having the full-fledged experience of watching RhettandLink Commercial Kings, the encore episode. First aired last week, 30 minutes ago. Now you're watching it again with us as we talk about it.
We call this the enhanced viewing experience. This is the year 2011, people, and you can do things like watch a television show on your television and watch two guys who are on the television show talk about the show live on a thing called YouTube. 2011. Everybody give it up for 2011.
Okay, that's enough. I mean, giving it up for a year?
I do that every year. I always give it up for the year once a year, and that was it. It happened.
That's usually like on January 1st, Rhett.
Oh, yeah.
Like at the stroke of midnight.
I do it on July 22nd every year.
Oh, thanks for joining us. We are going to relive the magic, which is discovering the world of taxidermy. And I will go ahead and say, since it's at the beginning of the show, I want to give you fair warning. Next week is our last live broadcast with an encore presentation.
Oh, you said it.
So
I wanted to wait until the end to say that.
Enjoy it while it's happening.
And we'll explain why that is. Well, I'll go ahead and explain why it is right now. That's because we won't be having encore episodes 2 weeks from now because a new show is premiering on IFC at 10:30 2 weeks from tonight, Whisker Wars. The World Beard and Mustache Championship growing dudes. They've got a show, so you can watch that instead of watching us. And listen, it's going to be fine. Everything's going to be okay.
So enjoy tonight and enjoy next Friday. Make sure you don't miss it if you want to experience the live RhettandLink Commercial Kings, because I'm giving you fair warning that this is the next to last one. So enjoy these last two with us. It's been a blast.
Briar Tangle Path says, how many seasons of Commercial Kings do you plan to do? We plan to do 17. That is the plan. Link and I have worked this out. 17 seasons of Commercial Kings.
But I'm being told right now, in my ear, my finger, I'm putting it in my ear because it's speaking to me.
Okay.
And it's saying that that's not entirely up to us. It's also up to the network, which needs to see a preponderance of people who love the show. Thank you, everyone who's tweeted and used hashtag Commercial Kings, who's shared on Facebook, who's told your friends, who's DVR'd and watched it. All of the support. We really appreciate it. We're glad you love the show. Let's talk about taxidermy.
Yeah, because we're missing out on Chuck Testa, the great taxidermist in Ojai, California. You might not realize this, but this place is only like an hour north of the Los Angeles area. That's Los Angeles. And you go up there, and the landscape changes, the people change, and all of a sudden you're in Ojai, California. You might as well be in Boone, North Carolina.
Which we've also been there, so we can say that. What Chuck Testa lacks in stature, he more than makes up for in taxidermizing skill. We decided pretty early on that we needed to adopt terminology. We like to verbize things.
Well, I've always used the term taxidermize because what I have heard the people who actually do taxidermy use is taxidermy. They say, I'm going to taxidermy something. I'm like, no, because taxidermy is what it is. A verb and a noun can't be the same thing, especially something that ends with a Y.
And then he said that he uses the verb mount, and for obvious reasons, we said, well, let's invent something new.
Yeah, we decided to avoid the term mount.
Now, because we always just get our hands dirty in terms of research, I knew that I was going to be stretched in this episode. I'm not big on the guts. I'm not big with the bloods, and I'm not big on taking the face off of a goat. But, I'm willing to do anything in order to make Chuck the best commercial and give you the best 30 minutes of television you've ever experienced. So I hope you I hope you recognize what I did.
And I got to admit, I had the advantage over Link because I was raised in a family that practiced voodoo. And we would
slide this way a little bit.
I'm trying to cover up the
You're
sun.
way over there.
Because I don't want to do that.
It's like, should I just be more over here and we should...
Where you were was totally fine and everybody's happy.
I'm not happy where you are.
As I was saying, I was
Exactly.
raised in a family that practiced voodoo, and we slaughtered a goat every July 22nd on the, what did I call it? Give it up for the year day. Every July 22nd.
I was ignoring you.
We would take a goat, we'd slaughter it, and then they would say, boy, that's how my dad talks, boy, I want you to slaughter this goat. I want you to skin this goat. And that was at the age of 1 that I had to begin doing that. So
You realize this
From
totally sounds like a satanic ritual.
from an early age, I skinned goats. So this was not a big deal for me at all.
He's totally lying. I mean, you might have skinned a dove.
You don't skin a dove. You de-breast a dove.
You might have de-breasted a dove.
So anyway, this is the moment of truth right here, Link, where you look at the look on your face. You're not happy. You were definitely a little wigged out. And
Listen, at Christmas time, we go to my in-laws' house, and my daughter gets a Barbie, okay? She gets a Barbie for Christmas, and so I ask my father-in-law, I was like, don't you have a knife on you? I need to use it to open up. The Barbie is secured with like a plastic thing to the thing.
yeah, it's
So
like military standard securing.
he says, sure, so he gives me his knife, you know, one of those knives that pops out thingy.
Switchblade.
He's not like a gang member.
He gives you a
My
switchblade.
father-in-law is not a gang member. He's a hunter. It's like a pocket knife. It's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So anyway, I cut the Barbie loose and I slashed right into my finger. And immediately I ran into the kitchen and I put paper towels on it. And then he comes in there after me and he's kind of laughing. He's like, "What'd you do?" I was like, "Well, I cut my finger." He's like, "Let me see it." I was like, "No." He's like, "Well, I need to take a look at it." So I took it off and I just knew that it had gone all the way to the bone.
All the way.
And it didn't really hurt, but when I looked at it, I got kind of queasy.
You're squeamish.
Next thing I knew, the room went black. I fainted right there in the kitchen trying to release a Barbie from its packaging.
Yeah, so yeah.
So it's safe to say that I am pretty squeamish.
Dead goat is a couple of steps up from Barbie.
Yeah.
So, and somebody asked...
It's pretty embarrassing when your father-in-law and your wife have to catch you. Like I came to and they
Well, at
had
least
there was a
it
wet
wasn't-
washcloth on my head.
It wasn't your mother-in-law and your wife.
He was taking pictures of me.
Well, of course he was,
I
because
c-
it was
I-
idiotic.
I unblack out.
Um,
He's taking photos of me.
all right, look, okay, I think we got the picture. Somebody asked in the chat room, did it smelled bad?
Yes.
With a D. Smelled bad. Yes, it smelled bad. Because the way these things work
That was Olga M3 wanted to know.
is Chuck leaves these animals out for a couple of days, and he actually lets the flies begin to do some work on the carcass because it loosens everything up.
Well, they eat the flesh off of the skin.
Yeah, it's nasty. And so, yeah, it smelled very bad. You know, somebody said in the chat room, I'm getting to, here we go. Somebody says, I think the taxidermy commercial is your best since the original YouTube ones. That was Dwayne 1.
Thanks, Dwayne number 1.
Well, thanks. So
It's definitely one of my favorites. So yeah, I think it had a perfect balance of playfulness, yet just heartfelt salesmanship. Grandmaster 6 lowercase e number 2 says, "Great job on Conan last night, guys. Can't wait for the colonic episode. Wrestling episode was amazing."
Oh, yes. Thank you. Tonight's episode was the wrestling episode. Next week is the colonics and
Being
hot
on-
yoga episode.
Hot yoga. Being on Conan last night was like a dream come true. You can watch the clip on our website. Go to RhettandLink.com, the homepage there, or you can click over to our blog if it's further down when
Now,
you're watching this.
you can't tell from the actual clip that's on our website because they cut out when we walk in, but I am taller than Conan O'Brien, and I made sure that he knew it.
No, you didn't.
No, I'm saying...
What did you do? Did you tell? Yeah, I didn't hear you tell. I'm taller than you.
I didn't want to say I'm taller than you. When I shook hands with him, I stood perfect posture. It might have looked awkward, as a matter of fact. I wasn't trying to prove anything. I was actually just curious because we didn't meet him before the show, and I noticed I was looking down at him just like a little bit, like about that much, like maybe half an inch down. I was looking down.
But Conan is a super nice guy. You know, when you go to a commercial break, he leans over and he talks to you, and he's not just saying blah, 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 blah,
Yeah,
acting
actually,
like I'm speaking to you.
He actually isn't saying anything. It's total gibber jabber.
Blah, 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 blah.
I leaned over to Lisa Kudrow and did the same thing. I was like, and she looked at me like, what? You're crazy. And I was like, I thought that's what you did when you're on these shows. You speak gibber jabber to the people next to you.
No, Conan had very nice things to say about our show and what we were doing. And,
He said to come back. He said he wanted us to come back.
and so we'll be there tomorrow. We'll be there every day.
We'll be there on Saturday, and they
waiting in
won't
the
be
wings.
making a show.
But that was fun. Thanks for sharing in the joy of not only getting your own television show, but being able to talk about it on Conan.
Ghost Colin is making another appearance in the Twitter-verse. He is asking questions over there using #CommercialKings, and that's how I knew he's asked this question. Can you guys still do live shows every week for fun, or do them during the regular show every week? I love the live show. We love the live show. We love doing the live show. We love the fact that you love it, Ghost Colin. But we don't want to do it at the same time as Whisker Wars, because we want you to watch Whisker Wars if you have that option. And we don't want to do it at the same time as the actual show, because that's going to get crazy if you watch the show for the first time with us. Then it's like the world's going to fall apart.
Yeah. Speaking of going back to the Conan thing, Heather2394 said, new mythical shoes. If you watch the episode on Conan, or if you watch it back on our website, you might see a special new thing. Bam! Oh, I just put it down there. It is not on the screen.
Well, I'll do this. I'll
Hold it up.
This is the new mythical shoe, ladies and gentlemen. It is not white. As a matter of fact, it is cream.
Actually, I don't think they can see it yet because it's not for sale. So this is like getting the scoop on it.
Well, I just showed it to him.
Oh.
I wanted to, let me do
Let's
a
see it
rotation. Now, a couple of notes about this. Well, you gave him the wrong shoe, but the pick holder is in a different place. Can you give me your right foot? Or just your right shoe. I really don't want your foot. The pick holder, many mythical beasts who got the mythical shoe told us about the pick coming out of the wrong place. It was down here, it was popping out. At your request, we have moved the pick holder to up there. It never comes out.
Get him a shoe back. I don't want it to
Under any circumstances.
Don't want to start stinking in here. Okay, now we are at one of the most notable customers of Chuck Testa, Larry, the man who goes to Africa more than he goes to the restroom. I think. The man has got just animals all over this upper room in his house, and I just love the way that Larry talks.
He just has an interesting way of talking.
It's
calculated. It's understated.
Understated, yes.
It's soft.
Labored / calculated.
He lets his gun. He lets his gun talk. He lets his gun do the talking. We had a little moment with Larry that you do not see in the show, where he started telling us a story about pretty much everything in the room, and he was telling us about the lion and the time he shot the lion, and he begins to tell us, and so we actually had him
he said my son was there, and my son saw it over the ridge, but we didn't believe it. We were like, hold on, why don't you be Larry yourself? I'll be the son, and Rhett, you can be like the African guy.
He had like a bunch of guides with him. So I was playing an African drum, like a bongo or something, and then they began to replay this event, and we got Larry to close his eyes, and he picked up some piece of wood as the gun.
I think it was a bow, like an African bow, like bow and arrow.
Anyway, we bonded with him. I mean, if you can't tell from that.
Yeah, and then we went back to his house later and got him to deliver a line in the commercial.
But this is one of my favorite moments from the entire season, because what we did is we learned that the key to good taxidermy is realism. You want something that looks real. So we said, well,
that's what Larry told us.
That. Let's go to a petting zoo, the nearest petting zoo, and let's see if we can get Chuck's dead taxidermized animals to fool real animals. And so our first test here is a turkey named, what was his name? Charlie? What was his name? Henry? What was the turkey's name? I don't know. It's on the show. I don't have the volume on.
I just called him Turkey.
But this turkey, as you're about to see, was very, very convinced that Chuck's turkey was indeed real. So much so that it attacks it here in 1 second. Watch this. Now, I was legitimately scared of this. I've never been attacked by a turkey before. Many voodoo rituals where we involved turkeys during my childhood, but none of them ever turned on us.
I'm not even watching anymore because I was trying to post. Somebody left a comment here. Dwayne, number one, you're all over the chat room tonight. Chuck's Taxidermy Facebook page has 5 likes. People, we should change that right now. If you go to Facebook and you got to spell Ojai right. So it's Ojai.
Theodore.
Ojai Valley Taxidermy. You can give them some likes.
Ojai Valley Taxidermy on Facebook. Go like Chuck Testa's Taxidermy.
Any man who will bring out his mounted turkey, taxidermized, and fight a turkey with it is worth liking on any type of social network where he's available.
Well, I mean, TMJR6 says, so far from what we've seen, who was your favorite person to make a commercial for? I don't want to play favorites, but I will tell you that Chuck is as nice of a guy as you will ever meet.
I don't know, you playing favorites?
Maybe a little bit.
What are you doing, playing favorites?
I really enjoyed working with Chuck. He was totally into this.
Well, he didn't know we were going to a petting zoo. We just said, hey, Chuck, we want to do some research and just, bring a turkey, bring a goat head, and bring a boar head.
Well, he didn't mind
Don't
at
ask
all.
any questions.
He didn't mind at all.
But we didn't know if he was going to be upset or if he was going, but instead, he totally loved it.
Well, and the thing is that
he took it as a personal challenge.
That boar at the end that was kissing the pigs, tell you the truth, the pigs began to eat the boar's nose off.
Oh.
I mean, they were kissing it at first, and then they began to bite into it, and I think they may have done some damage to that taxidermized boar.
It's horrible.
And it was cannibalism almost. They loved that pig so much they started eating his face off. But Chuck didn't care. He was like, I love this.
He felt validated, and he should have felt validated because you know what? He was validated.
Rachel Van Pamel says, I like the hot dog guy, Willie. Great guy. If you're in North Hollywood or in the Los Angeles area, go to Vicious Dogs. I've been there 2 or 3 times since we filmed that episode there. Best hot dogs anywhere, hands down, dogs down. He is a great guy, too. I'm not playing favorites. I didn't say any one was better than the other.
Cassie Frosty types in the chat room, I think Link should make his turkey noise again. How did I do it? Because it wasn't one of those. It wasn't down here. It was up here.
It sounds like a real turkey. I think maybe you were attacked not because the turkey looked real, but because your turkey noise is so annoying.
It was like, shut up.
All right.
Chuck was a great sport.
How many Facebook likes does Chuck's page have now, people? What was that Facebook page again? It's Ojai Valley Taxidermy. Ojai is O-J-A-I.
Right, you
like
just
OJ.
I can look and see right now. I don't know where it... Oh, 31. Big time. Chuck's going through the roof. The like roof. All right, that's great. Okay, so here we come back. Chuck didn't know where we were going with the petting zoo, and then we come back and say, okay, Chuck, we figured out your commercial. We know what we're going to do, and we tell him that we're going to put his work in their natural environs and then in some not so natural environments. And he's like, okay. I love the fact that he was just so willing.
He trusted us.
He was just along for the ride,
For some reason.
It was a fun ride. So first we dressed him up in his main showroom. We're dressing him up with all these different elk skulls and stuff like this.
And that is a full grizzly bear skin that is on his head.
We
got that from.
We what is this brown thing over here? And we pull it out and say, oh yes, this is perfect.
But we were inspired by True Grit for that particular arrangement. If you've seen True Grit, they run into the guy in the middle of the woods and he's got the bear skin just like that. So.
Right, which is also I think Jeremiah Johnson.
Oh, who plays that?
Yeah. And I could also make an Indiana Jones reference right now, but
I think
created so much scandal last week that I'm not going to do that.
I think it was Chuck Testa who actually was in that movie.
Oh, really? Jeremiah Johnson?
It is Chuck Testa. Did you not know that?
Superman BP asks, how mad did Chuck's wife get?
She would not speak to us. She was so mad.
And this hasn't happened
It hasn't happened in the show yet. But you're about to see... Well, we'll wait until we get there when we try to put the bear in the bedroom. She was so mad she would not talk to us until we came back to show the commercial.
Now this rhino, you see right here, we've got a rhino in a bar. Thank goodness for stow-and-go seating in a minivan. You wouldn't believe it, but that's how we got the rhino to the bar. And we definitely had some help from the crew to get that over there. But thank goodness it wasn't a whole rhino. We would have had to have chopped the head off.
Well, we would have had to put wheels on it and like skate it down the road. Now here we go.
We could have had the rhino hitchhiking.
This is when we've made the decision to put this black bear into the bed. And
I mean, and you tell me, you see a 6-foot-tall black bear standing somewhere, don't you immediately think, wouldn't that look better in a human's bed?
Well, he was already like in that position where all you had to do is just look at him, just lay him down. He's like, oh, I love this. His feet are kind of up a little bit though.
So we get him in the bed, and you know, Chuck didn't think anything of us filming in the bedroom and, you know, putting a bear in a bed, and, you know, his wife wasn't home yet. We were going to wait for her to come home, and then we were going to just film her scene in the bed. But then she just happens to call at the worst moment possible. And lo and behold, she, like any normal woman, I don't know, I'm not a woman.
My wife would not want me to have a camera crew making a commercial in her bedroom without me telling her. Of course she would have been mad about that. But it wasn't my wife, so I didn't care.
Really? So you thought of that?
No.
There's
too many things to think about in that moment. But later, when I started thinking, okay, yeah, my wife would be really mad about that. And so, you know, that's why I've never let a commercial be filmed in my bedroom, at least not this year. Not yet.
Not 2011?
2012.
Raw Ninja puts it all in perspective when she writes in the chat room, my grandma got attacked by a bear in her car before. Smiley face.
Yeah, that's something to smile about. Old grandma got attacked by a bear. It's a great story. Grandma, tell that story again.
Well, I don't know if she survived. They didn't say. God rest her soul. She was attacked by a bear in her car, and we loved her for it.
See the promo for next week's episode. Very excited to have the legendary Richard Marx. Most of you guys are probably too young to remember Richard Marx, but look him up. He sang a lot of hits in the 80s, and he actually co-wrote the jingle for one of the commercials in next week's episode with us. Now, a lot of people are asking, somebody in the chat room, Hilden M, says, I don't know if you answered this, but why has there only been one commercial instead of two? Well,
what do you mean one commercial, like in the episode?
Yeah, like this episode and the previous week, and then tonight was all
one business.
One business. It's some business, some commercials, or some episodes have two commercials, some have one. It depends on how much we found at that particular place. Next week, we have two more commercials. 2. Hot Yoga and Fountain of Health Colonics.
Lots of bodily cleansing is going to happen next week. And some of it's going to be gross. A lot of it's going to be gross. So prepare yourself. Shield the eyes of your children.
If you thought that a goat head being de-skinned was nasty, wait until you see us get colonics on television.
How are we going to top that in season 2, you know? We might have to be de-skinned while getting a colonic. You know, start really upping the ante.
I like it.
Light Avion asked, what was the most interesting taxidermized animal you saw in Chuck's realm? The rhino was a big surprise. I mean, literally, the thing was huge. You remember anything else that was really... Chuck, one of the things we asked him was, do you taxidermize pets? Mm-hmm. And, of course, everything we learned can't make it into the actual episode, but it does make it into the end of the commercial, as maybe you've seen. But he was like, no, I do not taxidermize people's pets because no matter what you do, they're never happy.
They always look dead.
They always look dead. Yeah.
People don't want their pets to look dead. They want them to frolic around and, you know, come up to them and pay attention to them.
You know, the only thing harder to do than please a person who wants you to taxidermize their pet is like direct a woman's wedding. Can't please a woman at her own wedding.
The strangest thing that happened with a taxidermized animal was when Chuck was taxidermizing a pheasant. Now, this is a very large bird that has been soaked in some sort of water and ammonia to get the skin to be loosened.
And I will say that before we taxidermized the goat, we also taxidermized a pheasant, the one that he's talking about, beforehand to kind of ease us into it.
And so I'm kind of joking as Chuck is ripping open this pheasant to remove the skin. And I'm like, and I just, there's this pheasant meat there, like a wing. And I'm like, Chuck, you ever get the urge to just take a bite out of that? I was joking. And Chuck's like,
he took a bite out of the
raw pheasant wing.
ammonia-soaked pheasant wing.
That's a real man right there.
And did he swallow it?
I don't know what he did with it.
I think he was like, look over there, and then he spit it out.
I averted my eyes.
Gracious, that was gross. Oh, Midnight 63 asks, is next week your last live chat? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So make sure that you thoroughly enjoy it. I think we'll open up the floor to, to any questions you want to ask related to any episode of the entire season.
Now, here's when we met Chuck's wife for the first time when we came back. And this time she's willing to talk to us because she had time to kind of get over it. And we learned that Chuck bought her a new bed. That was the consolation prize, was giving her a new bed. So she's happy. See, she's smiling. They're all smiling. Everybody's smiling.
The ways of a woman is to, they know how to leverage every situation into their advantage. And that's a compliment, ladies, that you know how to do that. Oh, you put a bear in the bed? Well, I'd like a new bed. Yes, ma'am. If mama ain't happy, you know what they say. Get the bear out of her bed and buy her a new one. So, we were glad to facilitate that. I think it might be kind of like marriage counseling, like by way of local commercial.
I don't think so. Master Black Belt, wonder what he's into, says, just watch the marathon. I love your show. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, on IFC tonight, in case you missed it. And if you're on the West Coast, I think you can probably tune into the marathon right now. We go back and we show every episode from this season leading up to tonight's premiere episode of the pro wrestling episode. You guys will see the pro wrestling episode. We're going to talk about that next week. Did you like that one?
Nope.
Did you see that I suplex Link but actually hurt myself?
Nope.
That's the way it goes sometimes.
Nope. Oh my gosh, I love this commercial. Now, that's his son, Chuck's son, saying, oh, look, there's an antelope driving a car. And then it cuts to the antelope driving the car. And then it cuts back to him again, and he's still pointing. It's like, you've got a great local commercial when you can watch it again and again, and there's just new things that you find. I mean, that's how you know you've got a great comedy or a great anything, is that with repeat viewings, there's just new things come out of the woodwork. Like, I think that's a second viewing kind of thing that you find funny. But I could be wrong. It could be a first viewing.
And right here, the final scene there in the bar, we went down to the local bar. We put the rhino in there, and that guy who turns his head like this, he did not want to be in the commercial. Remember that?
Yeah.
He was like totally dead set against being in the commercial, but like he just happened to be at the bar when we showed up.
We needed somebody in the shot, and it was either him or like one of us, and we were somewhere else.
We just said, all you have to do, and this is how our commercial process works. It is fly by the seat of our pants and fly by the rhino in the back of your minivan. We show up at this bar, and it's just like, okay, there's two people in there. Of course, the bartender is actually going to be the bartender in the commercial because she's the real bartender. And then this guy and this woman who happened to be there have to be in the commercial. And the guy was like, nope. He was actually saying, nope, I don't want to be in the commercial. And then we twisted his arm. And
literally, we put him in a chicken wing.
Made an appearance.
Oh, my goodness. How many times did you have to make Chuck say, nope, asks Menacing Banjo? Without exaggeration, I would say 273 times. We had to get that man to say, nope.
He was not happy with us after a while.
Nope. He would always say it like that. Nope. Because I don't know why he thought that's what we wanted when we kept saying nope. Everyone at home right now, in front of your laptop, wherever you are, just say it. Just see if you can do it. Nope. Do it. That's good. That's good, kids. It's like Blue's Clues all of a sudden. It's like,
well, you don't think about Blue's
right.
Clues. Is there, you know how
I'm
long
holding
they
up
wait?
one hand. Is it my right hand or left hand? That's
No,
right.
no, they
it's
wait
my
longer
right
than that.
hand.
I watched my 2-year-old watch that, and he like, my 2-year-old is watching it, and he's like, right hand.
No, it's like,
And then there's like 4 more seconds, and
like
then the
ask,
guy's
can
like,
you spot the tennis ball?
hey kids, can you spot the tennis ball? That's right, it's right there.
Oh, it's gone.
And my 2-year-old's like, yeah, it's right there. As soon as he asks, I mean, what?
Some 2-year-olds are slower than others.
There's slow kids out there.
Right. So that's how you measure. Whenever you people have kids, the way that you measure if your kid is smart is how quickly they respond to like the Blue's Clues and like all the kids shows do it now. Everything on Disney does it.
Somebody asked in the chat room, are you going to put any more of these commercials on YouTube? Now, we are figuring things out as we go here with RhettandLink Commercial Kings. And our goal is to get as many people to watch RhettandLink Commercial Kings as possible. Now, we kind of discussed with the team behind this show that maybe if we're just putting every single commercial out there on YouTube,
You won't watch the show.
people are like, "Oh, I don't have to watch the show. I can just watch the commercials on YouTube."
And people
so we've held them back.
And we were concerned that people would see the commercials and get the false impression that the show was just the commercial.
And the show does show the commercial. For those of you who are in the chat room and you happen to not be watching the show is the process of what led to the commercial and then showing the commercial. And somebody asked in the chat room also, Andrew Gilchrist says, I've never seen the show. Is it good? Well, chat room, tell them what you think about the show, those of you who've seen it.
TMJR number 6 said, would you make a commercial in the Blue's Clues style? Now that's a good idea. I mean, if we were making a commercial for like, if we were targeting children and we wanted to make it educational, certainly we could do that. Or we could do it for adults and just totally insult them with it. There's different ways you can play it, but that's a good idea. I'm going to take full credit for that.
If you're watching IFC now and you've got another episode of Young, Broke, and Beautiful, enjoy that. We're going to continue to talk for a little bit. And then
if you have any questions, go ahead and write them because we're going to wrap this show up in like 5 minutes. But it's so rude of us. We never offered you any almonds.
Any completely tasteless raw almonds with no salt on them.
Unsalted almonds. Would you like one? They're right here. Reach and get one, kids.
One of the things I discovered today was while you're reaching for that almond, you can do 2 things at once.
There you go, kids. Oh, you got one. It took you a while. You're not the smartest kid on the block.
That's what you can't say.
You ultimately did get your almond.
You can't tell the kids that they're stupid. You have to let them discover that on their own.
Would you like me to try an almond?
What I discovered today was Get Glue.
You would? Okay.
All you guys have been tweeting in the chat room.
Would you like to know what I think of my almond?
Let me just quickly explain this because I really think it's going to be awesome. Link. People can get free stickers. Just eat your almond for just a second.
Okay, I'll tell you. It's great.
Google Get Glue.
Can you spot
That's all I'm going to ask you to do.
the bowl that has the almonds in it?
You would have been a good host of Blue's Clues because you remind me of the guy who used to host it. If you were to part your hair
Right.
down the middle.
That's right. It's right here. Would you like another one? Okay. Sure. You can have one. This is good. This is what they call a gentle close to a live broadcast.
What I was saying was, a lot of you have been talking in the chat room about this Get Glue thing where you can go and become a fan of our show. It connects with Facebook and Twitter, and you can get free stickers.
Good gosh, those things are so
You okay?
dry.
You can get free stickers, actual physical stickers, not digital stickers, but free stickers. So, I don't even know. Just Google Get Glue and then search for Rhett and Link Commercial Kings on there, and you can get free stickers. And a bunch of you guys responded to a tweet and a Facebook message that we sent out earlier about this. But
Would you like some water?
you've been doing that this whole time, and I didn't even know about it.
Oh, you don't? You're not thirsty? Or are you just not smart enough to have answered yet? Okay. I'll just keep drinking the water.
Kids, we appreciate you joining us tonight.
Are you wrapping it up?
I'm wrapping it up. Next week is the last Commercial Kings Live, I'm sorry to say.
Digital water. Digital water.
We're going to be talking about the wrestling episode. I'm going to tweet out here a link in a second about next week's episode, which I think it might be...
The pacing of your delivery is slowed to a point of all of a sudden it's like
I'm waiting for you to insert...
like you're dramatic.
I'm waiting for you to insert things about for
the water.
little children.
I'm done with that. I'm done with it.
I'm going to tweet out a link with a little preview of next week's episode. Next week we get colonics and we learn hot yoga.
Thanks for joining us tonight, people. It's been fun. Other episodes were funnier in terms of talking about them here. This live show I had more fun a couple weeks ago, honestly. But this is still pretty fun.
You're having less fun now?
Yeah, I don't know why. I think it was the almonds. It wasn't you. You were great. You were okay too.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little down tonight. Let's talk for another 20 minutes and let's artificially emote.
This is
like
how
talk
it works.
about our emotions.
This is how it works when you have a live internet show and there's not like a producer that has to be like, guys, you got to wrap it up. You just kind of
It's getting horrible, guys.
You kind of dwindle off into nothingness.
You're getting crazy. Okay, joke, you can do it. Say, you got to cut it. You got to cut it. Wrap it up. It's not the first time you've told us that.
See you next week.